And I'm live. Hi there, Bob Tuskin. Long time no see. Hope all is well. Want to do a little troubleshooting here to see how it goes. I will be resuming my broadcasting on January 14th. I'll be here on my YouTube channel. I'll be on other social media platforms as well. And I'll also be broadcasting live on the Republic Broadcasting Network. So I'll be able to take live calls, but I'm going to be expanding what I do in a big way this year. It's 2026. I know a lot of people have New Year resolutions. This isn't a New Year resolution. This is, in fact, an old year's resolution because for as long as I can remember, I've been interested in exposing the truth and fighting for what's right. We live in a world of so much misery and suffering, and much of it is unjust. And I'm not just going to sit back and allow these things to happen. I'm not an ostrich. I'm not going to put my head in the sand. I'm going to stand up for what's right. And I want to share that journey with you. And I want to continue to learn with you. A big part of why I've done this in the past is because it's an excuse to speak with interesting people and learn from the community, learn from people that are a heck of a lot smarter than I am, that's for sure. But yeah, I want to try a number of different things that I hadn't done in the past. A continued focus on solutions, of course. You can only continuously talk about all of the dark elements of our world, and it's good to expose those things, don't get me wrong, but if we expose them without looking at what's really what we want, which is abundance, love, life, liberty, and how to get there, the solutions to get us outside of these issues. Because a big part of it is a mindset, it's a psychology. There's those that are ignorant, and ignorance is bliss, I guess, some might say. There are those who are aware of what's going on, and they're consumed by it so that it becomes unhealthy. It becomes a sort of paranoid delusion, or it consumes them in a way in which they lose sight of what they want in life. And then there are those who identify it, don't ignore it, but look to get beyond it. Look at, okay, these are things that we don't want, but I'm not going to allow this to impact me. I'm not going to allow this to warp my psychological mindset. No, I'm going to stand up for what's right, and I'm going to continue to do what's right. So I want to see if I can figure out on this new streaming platform. By the way, I don't have all my equipment yet. The microphone that you're listening to me on, it's just the laptop mic. It's not going to be my setup. I bought a new camera, bought a new microphone, I bought a new board. I want it to look good. I feel like I was ahead of my time and then stopped just about 10 years ago now. And I see all these other folks that are out there doing it. And there's a lot of good information out there, but I feel like I still have room to contribute. I feel like if we were to get outside of this scarcity-based mind control, I gave a lecture at the Free Your Mind conference called Scarcity-Based Mind Control, where I talked about this illusion of scarcity and how they use scarcity to manipulate us. We were to focus on getting outside of this paradigm with whether it's free energy, because we know it exists. We know that we have means to get outside of the confines of our current grid. And they call it a grid, right? It's a net, just like the internet. We're stuck in it. And I think we should get outside of that and look at all these abundant things we have in our reality. Abundance is out there. If you look at a fractal in nature, it goes on in infinity. And that abundance is something that I feel like we could tap into on both a macroscopic level as well as a local level with our families and our own mindset, if you will. So I want to continue to expound on my scarcity-based mind control talk, and more importantly, the second part of the talk, which is the liberation of the mind, body, and spirit. In fact, I wrote a book, and while I was quietly hiding behind the scenes here, I decided to take that lecture and expound on it, and I wrote a book. So I don't know if books are antiquated at this point, if anybody knows how to read. I know my listeners do. I know the people watching do. But I wrote a book, and I'm going to share that book with you. So I'm going to do a lot of different things. I want to finish the documentary, Growing Freedom. I feel really bad that I shot over 70% of that film, and it just got shelved, and I've been meaning to get back to it, but I haven't. I feel like now more than ever, that message in Growing Freedom is relevant. So I want to revive my effort to make that documentary. And I want to talk a lot more about consciousness. I want to talk a lot more about exploring spirituality, whether it's from my background as a philosophy major and a student of philosophy, or more appropriately, the literal definition of the word philosophy is a lover of wisdom. And I truly seek to learn. And if you look at the trivium, you start off with the grammar, which is the collection of all of the puzzle pieces or the building blocks of a building. And then you proceed into the second part of the trivium, which is logic. You put it through the rigmarole of that processor. You look for the logical fallacies. You look for what makes sense or doesn't make sense. And then the last part of it is rhetoric or wisdom. How do we apply these things that we've learned for the betterment of ourselves and others? How do we teach these things? How can we articulate these things in a way that's going to provide us a means to grow, to learn, to live, to love, and all of the things that us as human beings, not as animals, but us as human beings have the unique ability to process. We're not animals. They want us to feel dehumanized. The powers that shouldn't be, whoever they is. I know it's so cliche to say they, but there is an agenda, whether we do it to ourselves or it's perpetrated or continued by others. There is an agenda to dehumanize us, and we as humans have higher faculties that we need to explore and be proper custodians of, because ultimately we have a gift, and every single one of you is gifted, and whether or not you're using that gift is up to you. You can sit back and waste that gift, or you can use it. And we should have a renaissance. If we weren't divided and conquered all the time, if we weren't constantly bombarded with distractions, if we weren't scattered and mind controlled, if we chose to take accountability for our thoughts, our mindset, our mindfulness, and all of these things, we wouldn't be living in perhaps such a backwards, meaningless society, which we're trending in that direction, unfortunately. But I do see a juxtaposition, a lot of people out there who are aware of what's going on. So I don't want to cherry pick or pigeonhole us. I want us to understand that I think that negative minority outshadows what's really happening in our world today. And I think there is a lot of good people. I think people are good. I think it's often not nature and more about nurture. And that nurture is not just from your family or from our current time frame. That nurture goes back for thousands of years. And epigenetics shows us that these conditions of manipulation carry with us with multi-generational trauma that continues to manifest itself. And it's up to all of us to break that cycle, to become trailblazers and say enough is enough. We're going to manifest the lives we want to live. We're going to leave this world better for us, our children, our children's children. And we're going to continue to focus on abundance, joy, love, and all of these great things. So perhaps this has been too much of a, I don't know, philosophical rant that sounds like a word salad to you, but that wasn't my goal. My goal was to kind of come on here, say hello. It's been a while. Test out my streaming software. I really want to see, honestly, if I can play clips on here. I know there's a way to play clips. I wonder if I can figure it out on the fly here. I can share my screen. Let's see if I share my screen. Screen share. All right, I'm going to do that. And let's go on YouTube for a moment, if I may. Let's see if I can do that. All right, I'm sharing YouTube right now. Okay. Now, let's see if I can play a video. And let's see if you can hear the audio from that video that I'm playing. Oh, there's me. Look, it's me. I'm live. Hi there. What an ugly dude. Jeez. Definitely have a face for radio. Let's play the Growing Freedom trailer, and you guys can hear it.
It's clear that the United States is in a compromised situation now.
The whole paradigm that humanity could not live in an independent state, in a state of abundance, and in a state of true sustainability is ultimately the illusion that keeps the control system going.
Water is so important.
In 8 cases, we found aluminum in the rainwater samples, way above EPA minimums.
In some areas, it's illegal to collect rainwater.
The control system here on Earth is based in keeping people in fear of the scarcity of all forms of energy.
It's called rotational grazing, and it's done with livestock all the way up to cattle, all the way down to obviously chickens and ducks, goats and pigs can all be used in that fashion.
That's my farm, by the way. That's my
Money is monetized debt.
Oh,
It's a worthless piece of paper.
hold on.
The idea that
I hope that you could hear that. That gentleman that you just saw was Dr. Hart Stringfellow, who passed away 2 or 3 years ago now. And Hart passed away at 94 years old, I believe, 95. What a great guy. I miss him dearly. Learned so much from him. Yeah, I was happy to see him on there. Anyways, let me finish playing the Growing Freedom trailer, and I'm going to watch back at this stream and see how it sounded.
the government should say whether or not you can or cannot have food on your property is mind-boggling.
Kind of lost our connection with where food comes from and how it's produced and things like that.
Yeah.
Necessities such as food and water and shelter are what really matters.
Remove the fluoride from your drinking water.
By the way, I don't know if you saw that. Let me rewind it a little bit. That right there is a hand pump.
Are what really matters.
So no matter what, if the grid goes down, I have access to water. And in my undisclosed location here in North Central Florida, one of the reasons why I stayed here, as mentioned in this trailer, was because of the water, because there's crystal clear, beautiful water in our aquifer. It's one of the most important resources. And if you have an abundance of water, then you have potentially an abundance to food. And those are two less things that the powers that shouldn't be can use to compromise you and control you. So this water is very important to me. So I wanted to highlight that in my film, and I did in a couple of different ways. But if you're just joining us, we're watching the trailer to the documentary that I have had in the making now for, nearly 10 years. And I'm sort of testing the system here to see how it sounds, and looking forward to my launch, my official relaunch, I should say, coming up January 14th.
Remove the fluoride from your drinking water.
See, we're constantly told there isn't enough. What we're ultimately talking about here is personal responsibility.
Peaceful non-compliance is of the utmost importance.
Boom. There you go. Growing freedom. Yeah. Good stuff. Oh, no, we're not sponsored by Squarespace. Hold on. Did I stop it? Yeah, I think I stopped it. All right. So I'm going to get the hang of this. Probably have a producer or two to help me, because I am a bit of a Luddite, but nonetheless, I'm going to try to get with the times and learn this equipment. And by the way, this microphone, this video, all going to be revamped. I'm going to have it look professional. I'm going to try to do this in a very real way, and I hope you'll join me. I miss the interactions that I had with the listeners and with people out there that were on the same path. And I know that sometimes it feels very lonely being the sole truth teller in a world of lies. But you're not alone, because you're not the sole truth teller. We're all coming at it from a common place, using truth as our guiding star, as our compass, and ultimately together we will may or may not agree on every aspect of it. I know there's been a lot of divide and conquer in the past. I know there's been a lot of perhaps psyops or COINTELPRO that have gotten in the way of our discourse and of our community. And I've talked about the movement in the past critically. I've called it a bowel movement, because it's seemingly nothing more than a smorgasbord of egos and assholes and people that are often quick to scapegoat. If it's not the Jews, it's the Vatican. And if you're not exposing the Vatican or exposing the Jews, then you're somehow against us. And if you're not with us, you're against us. And if you're with us, you're still against us. And I don't know what the hell people think sometimes, but I feel as if we overcomplicate things, and our expectations are too bent out of shape to really focus on what matters. And that's taking accountability for your own actions first and foremost. I can't stress that enough. I don't know how the hell we're going to get things in order if you can't get your own affairs in order in here or in your community or with your family. A lot of this is easier said than done. I realize that, but we strive every day to make it a little bit better than the day before. And that's what we're going to attempt to do. So the Bob Tuskin Show returns. I'm very excited about that. As you know, I have been a OG, if you will. I didn't call myself that, but I've been an OG in this world. And I'll share with you what the announcement is that we recently made. So the Bob Tuskin Show is making a triumphant return, breathing fresh life into the alternative media landscape with even more powerful solutions and a much deeper dive into the realms of consciousness and the occult. Originally, Bob Tuskin, that's me, was widely known as a passionate truth to power activist and radio host, renowned for his fearless pursuit of 9/11 justice, his tireless efforts to expose geoengineering and other hidden agendas, and his solution-oriented approach to breaking free from what he calls the current slavery-based system. An eternal student of economics, science, and the arts, as well as an organic gardener, he built a reputation for blending sharp analysis with real-world activism, often speaking before city commissions, the EPA, and more, while championing personal responsibility and higher wisdom. Now, in this exciting comeback, Bob, again, that's me, brings back his signature style with even greater depth and energy. Expect mind-expanding explorations into expanded states of consciousness, the hidden layers of occult influences, and practical paths towards true freedom and awakening. And let's not forget, Bob has a great sense of humor that keeps things lively and engaging, cutting through heavy topics with wit and levity. Yeah, sometimes I like to laugh. So you're stuck with it. Sorry about that. You know, I'd like to think I have a good sense of humor, but who the hell knows? Anyways, he'll be joined by the greatest guests from across the truth, consciousness, and alternative scenes. Think provocative thinkers, researchers, and visionaries who will spark real conversations and inspire action. Get ready for uncensored, empowering broadcasts that inform, entertain, and elevate. The Bob Tuskin Show is back, and it's bigger, bolder, and more illuminating than ever before. All right, that was our little test broadcast. Can't wait to talk in much more detail about a number of things going on in the world. I see that we have a great comment here from Evan2243. Take the show on the road and sniff out corruption like Nick Shirley did. Live reporting is what I want to see. I'm going to be doing a lot of that. I'm going to be doing a ton of that. In fact, my plan is to get out and, like I did in the past, confront those that are hiding or obfuscating the truth. It's amazing what this Nick Shirley kid did. I got to say, as much as it's only the tip of the iceberg, to have a kid from YouTube go and expose billions of dollars. I guess that's chump change or Trump change, no pun intended, but to expose billions of dollars and do so as just a YouTuber and to outpace the lamestream media. Well, we all know that we can't count on those dinosaurs anymore. So on one hand, it really isn't a surprise that this kid, Nick Shirley, did what he did. But nonetheless, it's greatly appreciated and admired. And I hope to contribute to stuff like that. I really do. All right. Well, leave a comment. It's been a while. Tell me what you'd like to see, what you'd like to hear. How can we do things differently? I'm tired of preaching to the choir. I'm tired of being the choir. I want to be innovative. I want this to be a platform for deeper exploration and not just surface level bullshit. I really want this to be a platform for us to not only expand our minds, but make a difference in the world. And I'd love your feedback. So comment, provide me with some insights, reach out to me, call me. We'll be taking live calls, which is badass. So we'll be utilizing Republic Broadcasting. You can visit the website republicbroadcasting.org to learn more about the live radio version of this, but it's not going to just be live radio. It's going to be everything. I'm going to try to get with the times. It's funny, when I first started, I was 18 years old, and now I am turning 40. And I feel like a dinosaur, when previously I felt like I was the change. I was the young whippersnapper that was going out there and shaking the cage. And now I hope that I'm not too curmudgeonly, and that I can get it together and figure out this technology stuff and go from there. All right, folks. Love you. Bob Tuskin signing off for now. but I will be back often and soon. Take care.